Markets opened 2 minutes ago, so let's get down to business. The Trump family is now moving to expand its crypto venture after getting an initial sign-off from a Trump administration regulator. An arm of the Treasury Department has given World Liberty Financial preliminary approval to become a bank. Once that becomes final, World Liberty will be able to offer its cryptocurrency known as USD1 to clients, as well as earn interest on the business it does. This story has one of our viewers, Donna of Philadelphia, asking the question, what are the implications, risks, and legal and constitutional questions of Trump and Witkoff families chartering their own bank? Donna, you are nailing it, sister. I want to know the same thing. Joining me, veteran Washington correspondent John Harwood. He's a distinguished fellow at Duke University and a columnist for Zateo on Substack. And Rick Newman is here, author of The Pinpoint Press on Substack and former senior columnist at Yahoo Finance. I mean, what do you think of this? Is crazy.
World Bribery Financial, let's call it that. I mean, this is just the next step in Trump's self-enrichment scheme. This is not going to be a bank that holds customer deposits. So if you're a Trump lover and you really want to put your savings in Trump's bank, you can't do that. Sorry. But what it's going to be able to allow them to do, I think, is sort of graduate from petty graft to institutional graft. So one of the things they will be able to do with this bank is handle deposits for institutions, hedge funds or money firms or anybody else, foreign, institutions, things like that, where they have a lot of connections. They will make more money handling that stuff under the guise of this is all part of a crypto company. So here we go.
Okay, John, I got a two-parter. I need your reaction. I mean, the regulator who made this decision was appointed by Trump himself, but also, where are the big voices in the banking industry? Okay, these are our public-facing, public CEOs. Where are the Jamie Dimons, the David Solomons, the Larry Finks of the world? Why aren't any of these gentlemen weighing in on this? What Rick just laid out, they all know is the truth.
Of course they do, but they're all hiding and cowering in the corner because they know Trump is likely to go after them. Look, Donald Trump, when he's out of office, he tries to get his voters all riled up by talking about corruption, insider trading, the swamp. And then he gets into office and he cuts the inspector generals out of the government. He cuts the expanded IRS enforcement. And when people complain about that, he just jacks the volume up even louder. So he now wants an immunity deal from the IRS. He doesn't just make crypto deals to enrich himself. He starts a bank and he gets himself deeper into the industry. He strikes a deal or issues an order to curtail the tracking of money laundering. Why would Trump do that? Well, he's been investigated for money laundering himself in the past. This is a grotesque picture that we're seeing, and I don't know where it ends other than a Democratic victory this fall that puts some curbs on him.
Okay, John, and I want to just lay that out for our audience again in case people missed it. Last week we learned that the Treasury Department is scaling back a regulation for shell companies. And the point of this regulation is meant to crack down on money laundering. David Frum from The Atlantic called the move a huge gift for financial crooks. What is your take on this? I mean, I can't even understand the point of the Treasury Department is calling this red tape. I get that there are instances where we have too much prohibitive red tape. Yep. But when you see them cutting things like this, to me, this is how they're paying off the industry from the industry ever speaking up in terms of right and wrong. Yeah, because what they're getting is just so damn good.
And there's another part of this, which is the data that they have on companies that may have done this. They want to get rid of literally destroy the data.
Destroy the data.
I mean, it costs almost nothing to store data. Why would you get rid of the data? I mean, that's the easy part. Every time something like this happens, I say to myself, okay, Trump is all about what's in it for me. How do I enrich myself? So I'm asking the question, what does Trump personally get out of this? I don't know what he gets out of it. We know that he's had his own personal bank accounts closed for suspicion of money laundering. That was in 2021. So is he just like trying to get back at the banking system? I think there's probably more to it than that. Somebody wants a favor. I hope we find out who wants the favor and who's going to benefit from it. I mean, we just need to stay on this because this is, I don't know if you call it legalized graft, but this is like the government of graft.
John, this
And
is
Steph,
absolutely
Steph,
somebody
you-
getting a big fat favor. I mean, when I talk to senior people in the financial industry, they avoid me like the plague right now because they don't want to discuss any of these topics because the going is so good for them. They cannot believe the fat city they're in.
Well, look at the market. The market's doing quite well. This is a recovery or an economic cycle in which job creation has slowed, growth has slowed, but the market's doing extremely well. And some people want to step aside and just let that continue to happen. But look, David Frump's piece was excellent in the Atlantic, and he talked about white-collar criminals being the last loyal constituency of Trump. Look how he caters to that constituency. Look at the pardons he's issued while claiming that the administration is going after fraud, by which he means small-scale fraud by people, generally people of color. And all of the pardons he's been issuing to high-level fraudsters, obviating their need to pay back their victims. This guy is openly sympathetic with criminals because those are his people. He's one of them.
Isn't it amazing? Because when you think about when Trump ran for office in 2015, when you think about the early Trump rallies, who Trump's original base was, the whole idea was we are going to go after those people at the top who are stealing from you, the reverse Robin Hoods.
Drain the swamp?
Exactly, exactly.
Where'd that go?
And now white-collar criminals are his last loyal constituents, or maybe his just latest. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me.